Welcome to another episode of Unsolved Missing and a Broken System. Okay, guys, we're going to get started with our very first story. I was going to do Alexis Crawford first, but because her story is so intense, I'm going to do the child abuse stories first, and then I'm going to come back and do hers after those. Let's do the first story. Howard came to Children's Hospital, Wisconsin, when he was 7 years old with burns caused by his biological mother covering 85% of his body. Some thought that he might not survive, but the doctors at Children's never lost faith. Every day, Children's Hospital of Wisconsin works to make sure that every child in Wisconsin has a safe, loving, and healthy place to grow. We know we can not stop child abuse and neglect, but with your help, we can curtail it. This is Howard's story.
The call first came in shortly after 8 o'clock, shortly after the start of our shift. It was Sunday and it was Mother's Day, and we were sent out to meet a uniform squad regarding the child that had been burned.
With 75% burns, there was a significant chance that he was not going to survive this. We knew we had to be very aggressive in his resuscitation and giving him fluids in order to correct his shock that he was in.
His fight continued in the pediatric intensive care unit, but doctors say the odds were still against him. After dozens of surgeries to graft his skin, Howard no longer needed constant care from the staff at Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. But where would Howard go? His mother had been jailed for scalding him in the tub. Hospital staff made it their business not only to help Howard heal, but make certain when he left their care, he'd be in good hands.
So it was very important to get a foster home for Howard that could provide him with a nurturing, caring environment, but could also meet his medical needs.
While at the hospital, Howard made friends with Kathy Ardolini.
Child advocacy.
And Kathy called some of her friends.
She said that there's a little boy at Children's Hospital who was pretty badly burned, and they're looking for a foster home for him.
It wasn't really our decision. It was like, how could we not? He was ready and willing to come, and all we had to do was accept him.
I mean, we saw someone that needed us.
Howard quickly became part of Gary and Meg's family, first in foster care and later as their adopted son.
Howard's filled so many voids in our life. He's going to make his mark in this world. Not many people can look death in the face and go beyond. Not many people that have been so severely hurt like he has can go on with his attitude and be so positive and keep fighting.
For Howard to be where he is today has required years of help from Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. And for that, Meg Nolan will always be grateful.
The staff at Children's Hospital is unbelievable. You know, you never realize how lucky you are to have Children's Hospital in your backyard until you need it. As far as Howard and our family, I can't even imagine life without Howard. You know, it was great to have him come to our family, and I wouldn't have had it any other way than to make sure he stayed in our family, and we're very blessed to have him.
Okay, guys, let's move into the second story.
The day after Anthony Avalos was discovered unresponsive in his Southern California home, the 10-year-old was pronounced dead at a hospital. Authorities say the boy's mother, Heather Barron, claimed he suffered injuries from a fall. But the Department of Child and Family Services says Anthony appeared malnourished and severely beaten. Barron's boyfriend, Kareem Leyva, has been arrested on suspicion of murder.
We wouldn't discuss motive at this point. It's too early.
With Child and Family Services confirming they received 12 referrals involving Anthony since 2013, the LA Times reports the caller said Anthony or his 6 siblings were denied food and water, sexually abused, beaten and bruised, dangled upside down, and locked in small spaces.
I'm heartbroken, and I am so angry at the same time.
As family members protest outside child services for failing Anthony, the agency confirms in interviews prior to his death, Anthony disclosed details consistent with media reports that he was beaten, locked up, and not fed. Tonight, troubling allegations of abuse, as a community is left wondering if he was failed by the system designed to protect him. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.
Okay, guys, now we're going to move into the major story of the night, and that is Alexis Crawford. While I'm reading, I have a photo collage. I want you guys to take a look at it. A senior at Clark Atlanta University, Alexis "Lex" Crawford, age 21, was a criminal justice major living with her friend and roommate Jordan Jones in 2019. Though many close friends knew the two women had issues with their friendship, they spent homecoming celebrating and socializing together as the fall semester came to a close. However, their seemingly reconciliation was short-lived. On October 26, the two had a falling out that was later discovered would have deadly implications. Shortly after the altercation, Crawford went missing, and her body was found a week later on November the 8th in Exchange Park. This is Alexis Crawford's story.
More than a week since 21-year-old Alexis Crawford's body was found in a DeKalb County park. Her roommate and roommate's boyfriend both charged tonight with her murder. Today, family, friends, and the AUC community gathering to remember happier times and say their final goodbyes to the Clark Atlanta University student. Our Nick Sturdivant was at the funeral in Athens. He has more from that emotional service.
There wasn't a dry eye or empty seat inside Cornerstone Church in Athens.
Alexis Janae Crawford was just a quintessential college student from a small town. She was smart and brilliant and beautiful and hardworking and loving.
Alexis Crawford's hometown.
Alexis is every one of our daughters. Alexis is every one of our friends.
The focus wasn't on her tragic death, but on Alexis's, or Lex as her friends and family called her, life.
And we just sit and talked about how we gonna be so rich. How we gonna be so rich and have a big old house. So Lex, for the both of us, I'm gonna get that degree.
Alexis graduated from Clark Central High School in 2016. She was a senior at Clark Atlanta University, majoring in sociology and criminal justice, with a bright future before it was tragically cut short.
I will never forget the times I would come home late, tired from dance practice, and you would make sure I had something to eat before I went to sleep. Lex, you are special. She refused to live her life with guilt and fear. She put her faith in God. God was her walk through her hard times. So now we should take her lead.
I can rest better now, knowing that she's in heaven.
Hundreds came to pay their final respects, traveling from miles away Saturday. Fulton County Commissioner Rob Pitts promising the family justice in her death.
Something is broken, and I'm going to fix it as chairman of the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County. Crawford family, you have my word.
It hurts to the core. But God still loves this family. God still has your back.
During the service, a friend of Alexis vowed to start a scholarship fund in her name.
Very sad indeed. I'm going to read some more, and then we're going to start on the follow-up to what happened in the case. Let's go. Search parties for Crawford across the southwest Atlanta area were led by friends and family who felt like the Atlanta Police Department was not taking her disappearance seriously. If we, the citizens, have to be detectives and mentors and have to do the forensic files, then what is left for them to do? This came from an activist, Sabrina Peterson, also known through the whole T.I. and Tiny debacle. She spearheaded the search for Crawford in early November. Dozens of volunteers from across Atlanta gathered, looking for any clues that could help them locate Crawford's whereabouts. While the searches continued up until November the 7th, many were still hopeful that Crawford would be safely returned. On November 8th, Jones confessed to assisting in the murder and death of her roommate alongside her boyfriend, Baron Brantley. Both James and Brantley have pled not guilty to charges of murder, 2 counts of felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and concealing the death of another. Okay, guys, now we're going to listen to a timeline.
He admitted to choking Alexis, Miss Crawford. And while he was choking Miss Crawford, Jordan Jones put a plastic bag over her head.
Disturbing new details exposing the brutality last week and the awful story of Alexis Crawford's final moments. This week, both of the Clark Atlanta senior's alleged killers, her roommate and her roommate's boyfriend, were in court. From what we have seen so far, Jordan Jones and Baron Brantley each trying to shift the blame to the other for what happened to Alexis. Elwin Lopez takes us through the timeline.
Yeah, Jeff, Alexis Crawford had accused Baron Brantley of sexually assaulting her just 4 days before she was killed. His DNA was found in the rape kit, even though Jordan Jones, his girlfriend and Crawford's roommate, told Crawford's parents that it wasn't. That's just some of the shocking details we're learning today. October 26th, it was homecoming weekend when detectives say Alexis Crawford, her roommate Jordan Jones, and Jones' boyfriend Baron Brantley went out drinking. Lead detective Michael Young testified that Jones said she went to lie down after they got home, and when she woke up, she told investigators she went looking for her boyfriend. She said the bathroom door was locked, and when she knocked on the door, Brantley then came out immediately saying he had not raped Crawford. The roommate told police Crawford was unconscious on the floor, and Brantley took off in her car. Police say Jones called 911 to report that her boyfriend had stolen her car and also told them Crawford had told her that Brantley had sexually assaulted her. According to Atlanta police, Crawford at first refused to talk to the officer, but 15 minutes later, police were called back to the apartment and Crawford filed a sexual assault report. The next day, October 27th, Crawford went to the hospital to get a rape kit. That same day, Brantley told police Jones snuck him back into the apartment she shared with Crawford. He hid in Jones' room until October 30th. Crawford never knew her alleged attacker was just feet away for 4 days. On October 30th, We previously reported Jones took Crawford to the liquor store. Later, she stated that when she woke up, Crawford was gone. But now detectives say Jones eventually admitted that she and Crawford got into a physical fight. And that's when Brantley, still hiding in the apartment, allegedly popped out of the bedroom and choked Crawford. That's when Brantley told detectives his girlfriend took things to a different level.
Jordan Jones put a plastic bag over her head.
According to what he told police, Brantley then cleaned up the blood, which police didn't discover during their initial check of the apartment. It was only after they returned and examined the living room with luminol that the crime scene was revealed. Jones allegedly told police after realizing Crawford was dead, they put her in a bin and dumped it in a park. A detective testified that after that, Brantley and Jones returned home, slept, and then went to a Halloween party that same day. And it was after detectives saw surveillance video from their apartment showing Brantley and Jones getting into the car around 3 a.m. that Jones, along with her dad, led police to Crawford's body at Exchange Park in Decatur, going to a few other parks before the one where Crawford's body was located. Jeff?
You will find more on Alexis Crawford's life, the suspect's background, and the investigation right now on the 11 Alive app.
Okay, guys. Now we're going to hear what's going on with the court proceedings.
New details in a Clark Atlanta student's murder. Alexis Crawford, a detective testifying one of the suspects hid in Crawford's apartment for 4 days after she accused him of rape, then burst out of the bedroom and choked her.
That suspect, the boyfriend of Crawford's roommate, the roommate also charged in the murder. And from what we have seen in court so far, the boyfriend and the roommate may be trying to blame each other for what happened.
Yeah, really compelling day in court today. 11 Alive's Deborah Tuff explains what we've learned up to now. Deb?
You know, we knew from police reports before that after the alleged sex assault, Alexis Crawford was too scared to sleep in her own room. Today, the detective testified Alexis had no idea her roommate Jordan Jones sneaked her boyfriend, Barron Brantley, back into the apartment after the alleged sex assault and that he stayed hidden, sometimes in the apartment along with Crawford, while the roommate was in class. Crawford was first reported missing November 1st by her family. Police interviewed her roommate, Jordan Jones, who told police she'd gone to bed October 30th. And when she woke up, Crawford was gone. But Detective Michael Young testified today surveillance video from the apartment parking deck showed Jones was lying.
It shows at 3:11 a.m. on the 31st, Jordan Jones and Brantley going out to Jones' car, backing up. They're off camera for about 6 or 7 minutes. There's a door that leads to her apartment where she backed up to. Leave the apartment complex at 3:18.
Young says the video showed they came back about an hour later, and he testified Jones eventually admitted she and Crawford got into a physical fight. And that's when Brantley, who'd been hiding in the apartment, popped out of the bedroom and choked her. The detective says Brantley says Jones took it a step further.
Jordan Jones put a plastic bag over her head.
Jones allegedly told police after realizing Crawford was dead, they put her in a bin and dumped it in the park. The detective said Jones was the one who led police to the body.
Her hands were bound and a blue T-shirt was around her neck.
The detective said Jones's parents had given her the bin the body was dumped in.
And her parents were coming down to move her out, and she needed the reason why the bin was missing.
Now, Detective Young testified after they dumped the body, Barron and Jones returned home, slept, and then went to a Halloween party that night. Now, coming up at 6, the testimony filling in questions about the alleged sex assault we told you about and what actually happened that night. Jeff?
All right, Deborah, thank you. If you need a refresher on how this case has transpired so far and its tragic details, be sure to check out 11alive.com. There you can find a comprehensive timeline of Alexis Crawford's disappearance. It's on the As Seen on TV section of our 11 Alive app.
New at 11, an Atlanta college student murdered, stuffed in a bin, and then dumped in a park.
Her best friend now charged in the murder. What could possibly happen to turn your best friend into your worst enemy?
In a CBS 46 News exclusive, Haley Mason sits down with a renowned psychologist to go inside the mind of an accused killer.
This is a story that most of us just can't understand. It's really hard to wrap your head around it. For parents, it's a complete nightmare. And for college students, young women especially, it's frightening. And it leaves them wondering, how can I keep this from happening to anyone else?
From the outside looking in, they were best friends. Alexis Crawford and Jordan Jones were seniors at Clark Atlanta University, living in an off-campus apartment together, looking forward to graduation. Crawford's family even invited Jordan in as part of their own.
Jordan Jones's behavior has been diabolical from the very beginning.
A lot of times, we're friends to other people, but they, again, are not friends to us.
Renowned psychologist Dr. Sherry Blake has examined the case and questions if Jordan was ever a true friend to Alexis.
Alexis probably felt she was a close friend of Jordan. She may have even viewed Jordan as a sister and trusted her. But that doesn't mean Jordan felt the same way about Alexis.
Friends who didn't go on camera told us the ladies were very different. Alexis, often warm and welcoming. Jordan, sometimes distant. But what could lead Jordan, the daughter of a church deacon and from a loving family, to betrayal and allegedly murder?
She went to the bedroom and woke up about an hour later and discovered Brantley and Crawford in the bathroom.
Just days before her death, Alexis reported that Jordan's boyfriend, Barron Brantley, sodomized her while she was unconscious.
She was accusing Mr. Brantley of sexual assault.
That accusation may have been the final turning point in a downward, dangerous spiral with Jordan.
While she was engaged in a fight with her, Mr. Brantley came out of the bedroom and choked her. And while he was choking Ms. Crawford, Jordan Jones put a plastic bag over her head.
Do you think this all boiled down to protecting Barron from a rape charge?
Of course.
Dr. Sherry says it appears Jordan was willing to do anything to defend and protect Barron.
And no remorse that I can see. So we asked again, what kind of person could do that? A person that's unfortunately emotionally, mentally unstable underneath.
Were the signs always there? One of Alexis's close friends took to Facebook with her frustrations after Jordan was arrested. Alexis trusted you, she wrote, even after I told her for 3 years straight not to. You gave her so many red flags of why you could not be trusted.
What it suggests to me, there's a lot of anger. There's a lot of stuff that we may not even consider what's going on with Jordan.
For now, the hope is for healing and lessons learned as a family fights for justice.
And I think this case is going to be very painful, but it's going to be a rude lesson and an eye-opener to young college students, young females, everywhere.
I did reach out to Jordan's family to comment in this story, but they did not want to. A family friend, though, did tell me they are all completely devastated by this. They say they had no indication that Jordan could be involved in anything like a murder. We'll have more from Dr. Sherry on our CBS 46 app. For now, I'm Haley Mason for CBS 46 News.
Investigators released a 911 call placed on the same night a Clark University student said that she was sexually assaulted by her roommate's boyfriend.
It's a glimpse into the chaotic scene that went down before police say Alexis Crawford's roommate and boyfriend killed her.
My ex-boyfriend just stole my car. He took my keys and ran.
That was Jordan Jones, Crawford's roommate. She made that call 5 days before Crawford was killed.
Well, investigators say Jones's boyfriend, Barron Brantley, actually ran from their apartment after allegedly raping Crawford. Police say when they got there, Jones told them that her roommate had been assaulted. Brantley and Jones are now charged with killing Crawford and dumping her body in a DeKalb County park.
Wow, guys. We're going to do some more commentary, and then we're going to close out about their bond hearing. Atlanta Clark University released a statement after information about Crawford's body being found was released to the public. Investigators say that this was an isolated off-campus incident and there was never a threat to any members of the community. While the murder of Alexis Crawford was isolated in that neither student lived on campus, it was clear that Clark Atlanta would not be a safe space for survivors of sexual violence to report assaults. This institution is currently under a title lawsuit for handling of the reported cases of violence that are experienced by students off campus. Taylor Matthews, a student, filed a civil rights lawsuit against Clark Atlanta for mishandling her reports of sexual harassment by a male graduate student. And you can read more about this information in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I wanted to do this story because I wanted to bring awareness. And oftentimes these incidents go with there's no solution, and the victims are often left with no sense of justice. So there's an excellent story on HBO entitled Atlanta's Missing and Murdered, where it gives you some background about how Atlanta, their police department, actually has lack of care for missing young Black people, and it's had a long history of that. And so please check that out. It's on HBO and it's entitled Atlanta's Missing and Murdered. Okay, guys, that covers that for tonight. Here is what happened, the latest on the hearing.
No bond for a young woman accused of killing her friend who was also her roommate. The Clark Atlanta student's murder shocked the community last November. Her family pleading with the judge today not to release her accused killer. 11 Alive's Latasha Givens joins us from Fulton County tonight.
During today's virtual hearing, Crawford's mother and father pleaded with the judge to not issue a bond for Jones, with the mother's tearful plea saying her daughter's killing was senseless. Jordan Jones and her boyfriend, Barron Brantley, are both accused of murdering Alexis Crawford last November. Jones was previously denied bond, but today her attorneys asked the judge to reconsider, arguing she has helped with the investigation, has no previous criminal history other than a misdemeanor. They also pointed out that she has ties to the community and doesn't have a history of threatening or intimidating anyone. But prosecutors allege they found direct messages from Jones on social media encouraging Brantley to destroy surveillance video evidence from the apartment complex where Jones and Crawford lived. And they argued she was on probation for a DUI when Crawford was killed. Crawford's mother and father also addressed the judge during Jones's bond hearing today.
She died for no reason. No reason at all. Oh my God. But Jordan took it right. Jordan chose to go to the evil side.
And for now, Jones remains in jail awaiting trial. We'll continue to follow this case.
Okay, guys, and that's closing out this episode of Unsolved Missing and a Broken System. Let's do our affirmation. I am gifted. I am talented. I am beautiful. I am enough. Say that to yourself every day. Self-love and self-care are so imperative. Tune back in next Sunday. We'll do a brand new episode. Also, check my hot topic of the day, which is the NCAA award show. I did a highlight upload, so check that out. It happened, I think it was Saturday night. So I did a highlight. I go over fashions from the award show. I do some of the acceptance speeches, and then a closeout performance by none other than the amazing Jasmine Sullivan. Keep tuned. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell someone about my channel. Take care.